In the name of Allah, gracious and merciful, peace be upon Muhammad and his companions. Welcome to today's training course on gamification in e-learning. Today's session will last 3 hours from 9:30 to 12:30 with a 15-minute break, 11 until 11:15. The course contains important info for faculty members presented by Dr. Sami Safan from e-learning Deanship as Training Director of Deanship. Gamification course in e-learning. God willing, without interruption, there's very important information for faculty members. The course is presented by Dr. Sami Safan, the consultant for the e-learning Deanship and the training director of the Deanship. Welcome, everyone, and may God bless you all. God willing, let's get started right away. If the picture and sound are clear, please press 1. Dr. Rafia, Dr. Rafiq, Dr. Sania, and Dr. Barak Allah. Let's start. This is a very important course, yeah? And a new idea. For faculty members, God willing, the goal is to enhance the educational process in a comprehensive way. Today, the theoretical part will not exceed 10 minutes. The rest of the course will be about the practical side, so the practical part will be much more than the theoretical part. The practical part will involve a lot more hands-on activities and exercises compared to the theoretical part. Just 10 minutes of theory, and then we'll jump straight into our course. We will only spend about 10 minutes on theory, and then we will immediately proceed to dive into our comprehensive course. Of course, at the beginning, this means that the Eid is due to the apparent technological convergence. Of course, you know that our children, our siblings, and the entire society around us will meet in play, or the concept of play is clear. And you see your son, or your brother, or anyone you know spending long hours on their mobile phone or on smart devices. I mean, they sit for hours. Now, the question I ask myself is, are games more exciting than learning, indicating a flaw in education? Why do games engage learners more than traditional education and more exciting than learning? So we definitely need to ask ourselves and say that there must be a flaw in education. I mean, why? Why are we questioning this? Why do games attract learners' attention and motivate them to participate more, while the same learner is less active and engaged in traditional education? All right, so from this question, we should start by understanding something important. Games are built on elements that create motivation and challenge. Let's be clear. From the beginning, there are elements, and these are what we will learn today. To make the content engaging and challenging, we want to focus on what I'm saying because we will apply it practically. So, games have succeeded in capturing the attention of our kids and siblings for long hours because they have elements of motivation and challenge. One of its main goals is motivation and challenge. If the education we have is built or can be built in this way, we will certainly encounter differences in laws. We will definitely see a clear difference in the learner's interaction with the lessons. So it is very important, in order to raise the lessons to the level of attractive games and to move away from the boring stereotypes present in the lessons, we need, in this course, we learn the basics of motivation and challenge and how to combine them to create magical elements. These magical elements make the educational process attractive and desirable. So here we are. I'm not saying that we will turn education into play. No. Final. I'm not turning education into play. But I'm putting the mechanism, idea that games are built on, into education, or the work of education. There are people writing. The sound isn't clear. If there's sound, guys. The first thing I asked about was the sound. They asked the doctor. The sound is clear for everyone, guys. I have the indicator with the green mark. I mean, it's clear. So I hope anyone who has issues and the sound can go in and out again. Anyone who has issues, they told you to write it down like this, guys, so we don't get delayed. By the way, 3 hours and a little bit for the course, for all concepts. So we do our best. We try to help each other. So we can reach the doctor, Professor Michelle, with us in technical support. There are colleagues who can't get her in. Professor Michelle, could you send them the link via WhatsApp? The link to enter for Dr. Michelle. Professor Michelle is with us, God willing. Just send the link because some people don't know how to enter. Okay, so guys, to avoid delaying ourselves, our lecture is recorded. It's very important. And we will learn, God willing, very important things. We're here so everyone understands what we're talking about. We're not just talking for the sake of talking. We're discussing the integration of games in education. No, it's not just that. If we think about the term integration of games in education, they call it the playful learning approach. This means we're integrating elements of play into the learning process. Now, we put game mechanics, and this is called gamification. This is what we call playfulness. You might ask me, what do you mean? There's a difference between putting game mechanics in the curriculum and putting games in the curriculum. Yes, of course, hear the word. We put the game mechanics, and this is called gamification. And this is called the gamification. You might ask me, what do you mean? There's a difference between putting game mechanics in the curriculum and putting games in the curriculum. Yes, of course, here, word, the game, gamification, translated to Arabic as a talaib or a laib. This concept didn't just appear in education. It initially emerged and succeeded very well in sales promotion for brands like Adidas and Nike. It moved into education, training, media, and health, focusing on the real structure and its mechanics and the playful thinking in non-game activities. In essence, gamification is the application of game elements and digital game design techniques to achieve goals and solve problems in fields outside of games. And it started to transition into education, training, media, and health. And here, if we understand games, we can say it's the practice of using game design elements. Yes, and we focus on the real structure and its mechanics, and the playful thinking in non-game activities. Or we can say that gamification is the application of game elements and digital game design techniques to achieve goals and solve problems in fields outside of games. The important thing I want you to focus on is the word mechanisms or game mechanics for games in achieving goals and solving problems in fields outside of games. The important thing I want you to focus on is the word mechanisms or game mechanics. The game mechanics that I incorporate into my lesson, this is what we will learn today. Gamification takes principles of play. So, what does gamification take? It takes the principles of play and we use it to make the educational activity a reality and maximize interaction, meaning it should be engaging. We took the idea of challenge and motivation from games. That's the mechanism we're going to apply today, especially since we're in higher education. So we have a slightly different mechanism compared to general education, and we'll talk about that now. So education has this promotional and motivational philosophy. Through it, I mock the elements of the game and the techniques of game design, and sieve them into the lesson.